Alrighty, so I've been grinding away at the Z. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to record. I forgot my GoPro at home, and I've just been trying to get it taken care of. So there's a little bit of an update. I'll go ahead and walk you guys through what I've done so far. So as you can see, there is no front suspension. It is laying over there, and on the other side of the engine over there. I did that just so I can access everything easier, make sure I get all the rust taken care of on the wheel wells. And as you see, there's no front bash bar as well. That was a little sketchy removing because apparently the ends of the bash bar are like filled with compressed air for some reason, like little canisters of compressed air. So if you get in an accident, it pops and then sets off the sensor for your airbag. And then yeah, so I was removing that and it was a little stuck and a little nerve-wracking, but I got it out. As you can see, decent amount of work has been done. There is no rust in any of these spots anymore. I got all of that pretty much taken care of after letting it soak with the rust remover. And then I wire wheeled and sanded. Now I'm just getting ready to put some just like standard primer on it just so it can't re-rust. In the time being, I won't be able to do a full sanding. I just did a scuff up just so the primer would stick. And then I wipe down some acetone. But yeah, as you see, no strut towers or anything inside there. Same thing on the passenger side. I don't have a lot of light at the moment, and running against the clock right now because I'm just trying to get this finished. So, because my buddy wants to pull his Z in and do some work to his, so I'm taking up the garage. But anyway, yeah, coming along pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and just spray some primer. I'm using some standard Ace Premium primer. I actually like this spray nozzle compared to normal spray paint like the Rust-Oleum use because it gives out a more even spray pattern. But yeah, I'll go ahead and lay some of this down, and I'll give you guys a look over once it's done. Okay, so as you can see, engine bay is primered, and I do have that light misting of just black paint. That way when I sand it, I can see all the low points and know where to put the body filler. And I'm gonna go ahead and let this dry. I just sprayed the black on here. I just used black paint versus, I forget there's an actual word for it, but they make specialty stuff that's better to sand. I don't have any of that, so I just use black paint. A lot of people just use black paint, but anyway, what this allows me to do is when I start sanding it again, so far I'm up to, I did 80 and then 120 grit. So I did 80, just scuffed everything up and sprayed it with primer. And I wanted to primer it just so it's not bare metal. I didn't want it to rust because I wouldn't be here for a day or two. And so I sprayed primer over the 80, and then I came back with 120, sanded all the primer, and then I sprayed this black paint on top of there, just slightly misted all over everywhere. That's what it kind of looks like, a camo paint. And then I'm going to come back with 220 and then probably 300 and get all of like the flat areas, all the places I'm going to see with like the higher grit sandpaper, just so it comes out like, you know, really nice and smooth and, you know, with that gloss look. And yeah, so far it's coming along. As you can see, there is no more front suspension. That's laying over there. My phone was dead when I was taking this apart, so I couldn't record or update you guys on that. And I apologize for the rain noise in the background. It is late and it is raining here, but I haven't done anything in the wheel wells yet. I'm just going to take a wire wheel, scuff everything up, primer and paint it. I'm not doing anything fancy in there right now. One, because it doesn't really need it. It looks dirty, yes, so I'm gonna, you know, power wash it with some degreaser and whatnot. Wire wheel if there's any like surface rust or whatnot, primer and paint it, and then just get that taken care of. Pinch welds right in the beginning, right there. I'm gonna straighten up a little bit, sand that down. There's like a broken bolt in one of them, I think. I gotta drill out and retap. And then that frame rail right underneath that jack stand, there's a little bit of rust on there, so eventually I'm going to get everything surrounding the jack stand nicely, and then when I do eventually get this car back on the ground, I'm just going to jack up the front and fix right underneath where the jack stand is, just, you know, sand, or wire wheel, sand, primer, paint, just to make sure everything's nice right there. It's just, I'm pretty sure, surface rust. If I need to, you know, chop a piece out and roll a new piece in, I can. I don't think there's a rust hole, I think it's just rusty, so that's what I'm going to fix. Coming into the bay, this is probably the most rusty area on the car right underneath the brake booster because it was leaking from the master and got all that, you know, nicely rusted. So I sanded everything down, wire wheeled, sanded, primer painted, and this is the current status of it. Let me just turn my light on. As you can see, derusted and looking decent. And down there towards that lower frame rail, there's a little bit of rust on the side. I'm gonna get on the creeper and go down there and wire wheel, sand, and paint, just so, you know, stop any rust before it gets bad and serious. It's all surface rust as far as I can tell right now, and I'd like to, you know, eradicate it all its surface rust and before it gets, you know, to rust holes. But yeah, sanded that side. That side's not as bad as this side. I'm guessing when the brake master cylinder was leaking, it was probably just running down, you know, the firewall and along the slope, and that's why that area is the rustiest, because the side isn't as bad. Underneath the battery tray, there was a little bit of surface rust. You know, wire wheel scuffed, primer painted that, and you know, as you can see over here, that's looking pretty decent as well. And yeah, when I come back, I'm going to use an orbital sander and sand all this down, all the flat spots that I can too. I'm kind of torn if I want to get rid of like these, you know, brackets, because they may come in handy when I want to put like, you know, a catch can, or maybe I'm going with a hydraulic extronic pump. So it's an external pump, doesn't starve anything from the engine drive accessories. It's just, you set it anywhere. I'm thinking about maybe right here, and then just plumbing it to the rack. That way I have hydroelectric steering and I don't need to deal with the power steering on the 2J. Just because, you know, it's easier just to have electric power steering, and that way you don't even need to turn the car on. You can just turn the key on, like, to auxiliary, and have power steering. It's nice if I want to like push it somewhere without having to start the car. And then still trying to figure out where I want to put the battery. I've seen a couple of pictures of trunk mounted batteries. I'm not sure if I really want to go that route. Kind of considering my options. I'm thinking about getting like an Optima battery, like the race car batteries basically, that are, you know, really high power, expensive, but good quality ones. And I'm thinking potentially mounting it right up in here, below the headlight, behind the bumper. I know it might be seen through the bumper, so I'm kind of torn between that, but this is probably one of the best options at the moment of where to relocate the battery to. Depending on the bumper, I'm going with the Twin Z bumper, so I'll have to look at it and see if it shows this area very much, and if it does, maybe not. If it doesn't, cool, I'll mount it there. The other option is actually just to build a new battery tray right inside there, and then put the new battery back where it was, factory. Either way, the old battery box had to come out. It was super rusty, and that battery tray itself, I guess it wasn't paid in from factory, or the previous battery was leaking, so that actually has some really bad rust on it. So getting rid of that was, you know, inevitable. It needed to happen. So if I can get a good condition replacement battery tray and just, you know, tack weld it in there, I could definitely do that. Put the new battery over there. That solves that. If not, I'll figure something out. But yeah, and nothing much has changed with the back. I still need to delete those lines right there. I just need to get all this stuff out from underneath. I got the power washer attachment that sprays like 4 jets up, so when you like slide underneath the car, it power washes all that. So the bottom of the cars should be clean, so when I go to remove a whole bunch of stuff, I'm not having stuff fall on my face. I tried getting a little bit off. That's what that little plastic shroud is from underneath for the, you know, brake lines and fuel lines. And unfortunately, I'm most likely going to have to just make my own brake lines, because some of the flares, like the nut that sits over the flare, was just too seized on there to come off in some places. So I was, you know, trying to get it with a line wrench, and then I tried vice grips, and the vice grips kind of messed it up. And then some came off, some didn't. It ended up breaking some of the piping. So that is what it is, and I'm probably just going to go with new hard lines, just bend them myself and flare them. If not, I believe I could probably get a universal, you know, braided line kit, and just custom make it to order with my dimensions of how long I need it to be, and that could be an option. But yeah, next step, besides sanding that again. Probably gonna sand it with, like I said, the 220, maybe a 300, and if it needs to, maybe a wet sanding as well. I'm definitely gonna wet sand after I do my base coat of my actual paint, just so it comes out nice and glossy. And I don't really have a lot of like plastic covering, so if anything falls from the ceiling, I don't want it necessarily falling in the paint. So if it does fall in the paint, I could just wet sand it out and then you know, polish and buff it. But I need to take all 4 rotors off and get them churned. I'm gonna try to reuse these rotors for the moment, just because I don't have an unlimited budget, and I still need to put some money into this and the drivetrain and everything. I still need to source the CD009, and I need to get the drive shaft from Freed's Engineering. So that's still on the list of stuff to get. So where I can save money, I'm going to. If I can get those churned, cool. If not, I'll get replacements. Eventually, I'm going to get the drill and slotted ones, but just something to stop the car. I also need to get a caliper rebuild kit for the front and rear. And I do need to repaint this, which is like the lower suspension to the radiator support. So I need to scuff that up, primer paint that. Same thing with that one over there. And same deal with that. But yeah, if I could source some coilovers, that'd be really cool. Sway bar over there, I need to scuff that up and paint that as well. So I definitely have a checklist to continue on doing. But it is what it is, and that's part of the project. You know, you can keep, you know, chipping away at it, and eventually you'll get there. Now, obviously, there's a lot to do, but I've already done a lot too to get to this stage. So, you know, you just keep moving forward. You know, when I first got this car, I'll try to post up a picture right now of how the engine bay used to look, and obviously we've come a long way since then. You know, engine's gone, hoses, wiring, plumbing all deleted, engine harness removed, body harness, you know, temporarily moved out of the way. It's going to be relocated. Airbag actually was kind of interesting. The airbag wire that goes like that, I thought it actually went back into the driver's side over here. Apparently not. Apparently it just, the 3 clips, 1, 2, and 3, and then the whole loom comes off, and it only connects to the passenger side. You can just move the loom up there, so that's pretty cool. This is right up top right here. The only one that is going to be probably a little bit of an issue. I don't know if I could really extend this or something, because I want to run the loom like out here, and obviously, you know, having a wire go across right here to the crash bar is not ideal. So if I could just maybe extend the wiring and go up this way and kind of just hide it, that would be cool. If I need to run it back, the airbag only right up underneath here, I probably could. It's not, you know, preferred, but it is what it is. If I need to, I need to. But I kind of just want to tuck everything so it looks super nice and clean. And probably gonna leave this bracket on here at least, because this is like the hood latch indicator, and I'd like to have that functional, so I'm gonna leave that alone. But yeah, I apologize for not having the time-lapse footage for you guys, but I will get the GoPros here next time I'm doing sanding and you know, painting and whatnot. That way you guys can have something to watch. And I appreciate you guys tuning in for the updates. If you guys are enjoying the series, make sure to leave a like down below. If you have any suggestions or comments, you know, put them down as well. If you're new to the channel, this is going to be my 2JZ 300ZX. I got the 2JZ right there, and my 300ZX, so that's the plan for that. And yeah, I mean, it should be a pretty cool car once everything's said and done, and ripping it down the road. I'll continue giving you guys updates once I have some more progress for you.